tell you what's something. Okay. So because we kind of want to go in order of how the process goes, Enrique is going to go first, talk to you a little bit about lending. I'm going to talk to you about searching for a home, and then Bill's going to talk to you about the home inspection process during the process. So I'm going to let Enrique go now, and
Thank
then
you, Roland.
we'll go from there.
Okay, so my name is Enrique, and I am a local independent broker lender. And what that means, I have some pen. Does everybody have a pen?
Yes.
Okay, so what that means, is I'm the money person. So at the end of the day, unless you have a lot of cash at home, most people don't have, including me, I don't have the whole amount of money to buy a home, so I need financing. And that's when you go see a realtor, a lot of people go to the realtor first, and the first thing the realtor tells you is, are you pre-approved or you pre-qualified? If not, then they send you over to me. I specialize in working with first-time buyers. That's the reason why I'm here. I can cover a lot of these. I can actually do a 3-hour workshop on how to get qualified to buy a home, but I'm not going to do that. I only have a few minutes. So there's a couple of things I want to sort of talk about. Of course, you got to get the correct support. One of the first things means you have to have the right lender, the right realtor. So picking a person that has experience doing this is important. The fact that Roland is taking time to do this, the fact that I'm coming here to do this with first-time buyers means that we specialize in that type of business. So that's something we do a lot. One of the first things that we're going to talk about is getting pre-qualified. Everybody's heard of getting pre-qualified. What that means is you go to a person, a lender like myself, who's going to look at your situation and determine, A, can you buy a home? B, how much? And if the answer is no, you cannot buy a home right now, why not? And what can we do to correct that? So in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, you're in a position to buy a home. Perfect example, Roland sent me a customer a few months back. Person came in, we met. No, you're not quite ready, but if you do A, B, and C, then you'll be able to buy a home. And we're a week and a half away from giving them their keys to their home, right? They did what we asked them to do. So what are some of those things that we can pay attention to? Well, we look at income, we look at credit, we look at employment history, we look at how much money available you have or not have, and then we determine which assistance programs are available for first-time buyers. So there's some other things here in the paper, but I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to talk about those briefly. There's a lot of misconceptions about who can buy a home. It used to be a time, not long ago, where if you had really, really good credit, or you didn't have a job, or you could still buy a home. Or if you had a great job, but your credit was bad, you could buy a home. So you just needed one of those elements. Things have changed. Of course, with the meltdown of the housing, banks pay a lot of attention, but the biggest misconception people have is people think, well, I have to have perfect credit. I have to have a down payment. I have to be on the same job for 2 years. The reality is none of those things are true. If that was the case, probably nobody would buy a home. What we tell people is you need to have a little bit of credit, a decent employment history, a little bit of money, and a lot of willingness to buy a home. That's the biggest ingredient that you have to have, is you have to be willing to go through the process. So for example, we talk about credit scores, right? A lot of people say, well, what credit score do I need? Well, I can close a loan with a 580 FICO score. So for people who don't know what that is, means you could probably have a bankruptcy in your history, a foreclosure, and collections, and still buy a home. And people say, well, but I don't have a lot of money. We're closing loans for people who are buying houses with $1,000 out of pocket, cheaper than deposit for a rent. Then I have other people who say, well, I've only been on my job for 6 months. I switched jobs. And then prior to that, I was unemployed for 3 months. Well, we look at the whole history and we realize you qualify because you have a 2-year employment history, even with gaps. So the important thing is to know that there is an opportunity, right? Right now, we are encouraging people to apply, to try. So one of the things, the most valuable things you're going to leave here with is you're going to walk out of here with his business card and my business card and his business card. And those are the resources that you are going to have to go, okay, is it my turn? Am I ready to do this, right? So what we're going to do is connect with you and make an appointment and sit down with you and bring you in and say, okay, how do we get you there? Is it feasible for you to buy a house now, in 90 days, in 60 days, in a year? The reality is that unless you have some really, really special circumstances, we are always successful at financing someone if they have the willingness to do that. Sometimes I say to people, okay, you just gotta go and pay off these 2 credit cards, $500 and $1,000. We call them 3 months later. Have you paid the credit cards? Well, no, but I'm not gonna. Then we call them again 3 months later. Which credit cards again? What am I supposed to do? Like, no, you definitely don't want a house, because we're giving you a little bit of homework, and you just gotta do that. But as much as I want to get people into houses, you have to have the desire to want to be in a home. The final thing that I want to talk to you about is programs. The government doesn't have, per se, programs to get people into houses. But here's the beauty. There's a lot of organizations that have set aside funds to help people purchase homes with no down payment. So today I'm going to talk to you about one of those organizations. We call it CalHFA. It's the California Housing Finance Agency. It's not a government agency, but it's sponsored by the government. What they did a few years ago is they gave them a whole bunch of money and said, here, we're going to give you this money, go help people buy houses. Well, they've grown that money into a big fund, and they allowed for people to purchase a home with no money down. You have to have only a 540 FICO score. So that means you have to, a 640. So that means you have to just have decent enough credit, and you can actually get someone to help you purchase the home. Like if you have an uncle or an aunt says, I'm going to co-sign for you, we can do that. So we have some great programs available that people don't even know about. The important thing is to really be willing, open your eyes and say, you know what, I want to do this. In this flyer that I gave you, there's a lot of things that we talk about, employment history and saving money. The reality is that's all there. Well, the most important thing is we need to connect with you. I have a person in my staff, her name is Betty, and Betty's going to reach out to you. If we have your information, we're going to reach out to you to make that appointment at your convenience and look at your situation and guide you and say, okay, how do we make this the year that you actually become a homeowner? And we can help you. If I told you the stories of the people that I have helped, you would not believe it. People who were turned down by banks, were turned down by other people, were turned down by... We pay attention and we say, we can get you there. We're going to coach you and prepare you for that. And we're going to get you there. People accomplish great things when they're willing to do that. And that's sort of kind of my job is to get you there. So we'll have a little bit of a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, we'll be happy to answer those. But that's what I do. I'm the money person. So we'll talk again. Okay?
He's the money man. He's the only money on.
Okay, good so far?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my name is Roland, real estate agent. I did home renovation for about 10 years. I've been doing real estate for about 3 years. I bought my first home when I was 24 years old. Everybody told me that I couldn't have a home. Why are you trying to buy a home? It's not time for you to buy a home. All the things that people tell you to try and discourage you from doing something that you really feel you want to do. And so I'm just a firm believer that anybody can get into a home when they're ready. And so one of the things that's really great about doing it now is there's so many resources available to you to get started, get some information. How many people have gone on to Zillow or Realtor.com and looked at some homes? Okay. So it's a really good place to start. But one of the reasons that you want to use a real estate agent is because the listings on Zillow are only updated for new listings. So it's a great place to see what's come on the market. But if you're doing a search for homes under $300,000 and then a home was recently reduced from $325,000 to $299,000, you're probably not going to pick it up in your Zillow search because they don't necessarily update that immediately. They also don't update the sales. And I can't tell you the number of people that I've worked with have been frustrated by sending me a listing of the perfect house that they found. It's like, my gosh, this is only $185,000. It's a 5-bedroom house. It's got a swimming pool. Can we go see it? And I look it up and like, it was sold 3 months ago. So, that's one of the reasons that you really want to work with an agent and get out there and start seeing homes. Another reason is because we have access. We can go and get you into homes that you can't get into on your own. You know, usually if you're just looking by yourself, the only option you have is to do open houses. I can get you into virtually any home that's on the market. So what we do is we work together. A lot of agents are not necessarily willing to work with you unless you're pre-approved for a loan. I'm happy to go and take you out at least once to go and take you on a tour of homes, take you, get you an idea of what's out there. As long as you have an idea already of the price point that you're looking at, you're not like thinking that you can afford a mansion and you can afford a condo, but we can, if you've got an idea of where you're at, we can definitely go out and take a look at properties and see what's out there. And then hook you up with Enrique so that you can find out exactly what we can get you qualified for, exactly what your price point is to get you out to start looking. How much do you think that you pay me to buy a home?
Percentage, right? I don't know what it is.
Do you think you pay a percentage?
Uh-huh.
Anybody else have an idea of what you pay me as the buyer, what you're going to pay me to get you in a home? Nothing. You don't pay me anything. The seller is actually the person that pays me
I like
the
that.
commission. So that's not to say that there are not out-of-pocket costs for you in buying a home, but none of them are related to me. And one of the things that you'll see online is a lot of advertising that'll say, hey, if you use our online service, we'll eliminate the buyer, the expense of working with a buyer's real estate agent. There's no cost to you for working with a buyer's real estate agent. And that includes the time that we go out and look for a home. We go and look, for 3 weeks to try to find you a home. You decide, this isn't the right time for me. I want to look in another 6 months. It's not like I'm coming to you and saying, well, you owe me for that time that I spent with you. All of the money that I get paid on my end for helping you get into the home comes from the seller's side. So there's no cost for you to work with an agent. Is that new information for everybody? Okay. So the other reason that you want to work with an agent is because we help you negotiate price and we help you access all the information that you need to get through the process. So again, a lot of people think that when they buy their home, what they're doing is they're getting their agent to get them into their home. But what you're really doing is we're doing the rest of the stuff for the remaining 30 to 45 days to get you to close. So there's paperwork, we coordinate all of the aspects of working with the lender, working with the seller's agent, working with escrow, getting everybody on the same page and going through the process so that we can close you on time, which is really important to everybody in the process that we close on time, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm going to give you today is a little market analysis. It's about 3 pages long. It's got a bunch of graphs on it. It gives you a lot of information. If you're number oriented, it'll be great for you. I'm not number oriented, so it doesn't make any sense to me. But some of the things that you'll see in there when you look is that there's been a change in the market since last year at the same time. So home prices have gone up between $15,000 to $20,000 since last year. So if you're thinking, do I want to be looking for a house now? Yes, because next year it's likely that you're going to see an increase again. And if you're looking at an $18,000 difference between last year and this year, that's the price of a car. So you're better off making those steps now to get started to find out whether home ownership is something that's going to work for you, than waiting and thinking, oh, I'll do it next year or next month or during the summer. Get started now. Find out, at least get the information now to find out if you're ready or not, and when you're going to be ready. The other thing that's on there is that it'll show you the days on market from 3 years ago to today. Days on market about 3 years ago was about 90 days. That means that when a home was listed, the average home took 90 days to get to sold. Now it's about 30 to 45 days. So that also creates a little bit of urgency to get out there, because not only is our inventory low, you'll notice in those numbers that the inventory has gone down significantly. So there are a lot more homes on the market 3 years ago than there are now. But those homes are staying on the market for a lot less time. So this is a really good time to go out, start looking, finding out if there's a home out there that's ready for you. So that's sort of, what I do. I'm here to help guide you through that first home experience, get you, comfortable with looking, get you comfortable with what you want, what you don't want. And that's another thing that I'll provide you with tonight is a little home buyer's guide. And one of the pages in there is a sheet for you to fill out that just sort of identifies the qualities of the properties that you're looking at and what things are really important to you and what things are like, that'd be nice, but I don't have to have it. Do you have to have a swimming pool? Or would you like to have a swimming pool? Do you have to have a garage? Or would you be okay with a carport? Do you have to have a family room or not? And only you can decide what things you have to have in your home. But it helps you identify the things that because when you're looking on Zillow or Realtor.com and you're seeing those homes, you're like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that kitchen. Oh, I love, It's hard to really focus on the things that are really necessary for what's going on in your life. So that would be something for you to be able to go through, take a look at. I'll give you my business card. I'm hoping that if you decide to look for a home that you'll work with me. But if you don't work with me, you definitely need to work with an agent, okay? So again, we'll do questions at the end, but now I'm gonna let Bill talk to you about home inspections, which is what you do after you've found the home that you love.
Wow, that was excellent. Okay, before I talk to you about the exciting world of home inspection, fall asleep after having your pizza and your cookies, I'm gonna give you a minute about an agent because Roland, I know personally, he likes dealing with buyers, and you need to have somebody that is your person that is representing you. He's making money from the seller, but regardless, he is representing you, meaning when you get into that deal, and I come and do the home inspection, and there's an issue, there's a big issue, there's a cracked beam, there's a problem, he represents you with that seller, and that seller's agent to go back, he's your lead person. He's standing up for you, and you want an agent that's going to do that for you. So I know this gentleman does that, but even if you don't pick it, make sure that somebody is looking out for you, because I deal with agents every day that honestly, like, they don't care for my home inspections. I'm not real popular with agents because I tend to be very, very picky on doing home inspections, and some inspectors aren't. So if you hire the wrong home inspector, they might be kind of working with the agent to kind of get the deal done. And I've had agents tell me, God, do we have to say anything? But yeah, you're my client.
Yeah.
So you want an agent that's going to do the same thing. Okay, so please, 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 whether you call me or not, get somebody, because that is key, that represents you. Again, they're representing you in that transaction. And just because you go find the house and everything else, there's roadblocks that come up. And you want to make sure, and the same with your mortgage person. I don't know Enrique personally, but he sounds like he's awesome and can get, all kinds of loans. You want somebody who's going to fight for you, basically. So please, please keep that in mind. Make sure you have a comfort level with that person. You trust them because you are trusting them with your probably biggest purchase you're ever going to do. Okay? So you want to make sure that person is there for you. Not just trying to get the deal done and get it closed, and it's like, okay, I'm on to the next one. I'm out of here. You want to make sure you get that right person. So, I'll get off the soapbox. Anyways, home inspections are, does anybody know what a home inspection is? What's a home inspection?
You go in and you make sure the electrical's all right, that the foundation, roof, furnace, you check all that stuff. Anything that has to do with the maintenance of the home.
That's pretty much it, okay? We are not building inspectors from the city. We are independents. So we follow a standards of practice in the state of California. Anybody can do a home inspection. So if you want to go out and do home inspections tomorrow, you can get business cards, you can hang your shingle out, and you're totally legal within the California Business and Professions Code. So it's very key that you pick a good inspector that's going to do a good job for you, because you want to make sure that they find everything. So try to look for qualifications. ASHI and CREA are two of the associations that I belong to. ASHI is American Society of Home Inspectors, that is nationwide. CREA is California Real Estate Inspection Association, that is just in the state of California. These are at least qualifications that we have to go and do continuing education credits, 20 for ASHI and 30 for CREA every year. And it tells you something about that inspector. So whether you choose us or somebody else, everybody shops price. So we get calls, how much is it? And I get it. If this is the first time you know, you're buying a house, you already got, you gotta put money down, you gotta put money out for this, you gotta put money out for that, appraisal, I mean, there's things. So, it's an extra $300, $400, $500 depending on what it is. So, we get that a lot, well, the other guy's $100 cheaper, he's $50 cheaper, well, please qualify that inspector and make sure you're getting somebody good who's gonna put all of that stuff down in that report. Sometimes people say, well, my uncle's got a friend, his girlfriend, and then he can look at the house for me. Well, maybe they can. But we provide a detailed report with pictures and everything else so that you're gonna have to sit down with your agent once you get my report and go over that with them, and then you have to make a list of requests for repairs, mainly saying, I'm gonna ask the seller to fix this, 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 and this. And they have the option to say yes or no. And again, you want somebody who's gonna look out for you. And they don't have to do anything. The only thing they have to do is water heater bracing, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms. Other than that, they really don't have to do anything. I don't go to the city and say, hey, this house over here, you know, there's these violations. It doesn't work like that. They don't have to do anything. When you're hiring me, I'm giving you a list of what I see, and like I said, everybody thinks we're code inspectors, and we're not code inspectors. California Business and Professions Code, section 7190 to 7195, basically states we look for material defects. Material defects are anything that affects desirability, habitability, value, and safety. It says nothing about code. So sometimes there's issues, and I'm sure Roland will tell you, it's not necessarily a code violation, but there's issues that, you know, there's things that affect that. So I take that very seriously, and I will put that stuff down in my report. That's how picky I am. Some inspectors, again, there's no standard of what we have to put down, what we don't have to put down. Yes, it's electrical, yes, it's plumbing, yes, it's roofing, yes, it's the structure, yes, it's the foundation, HVAC systems, you know, on and on and on. But some inspectors take it seriously, and some kind of once over stuff and go through it, and that's not really the inspector you want to have do that. You want somebody who, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, everybody rents now, I take it? What happens now if the water heater starts leaking? What do? You call somebody. When you buy that house and it starts leaking, you will probably get a home warranty for the first year typically, which will probably take care of that. But after that, you're on your own. So you want to know what these issues are when you move into that, because trust me, it's going to cost money out of pocket, and then you got to move, and then there's turning everything on and getting everything set up. You don't want an issue when you move in, or 3 months later, oh my God, this, you know, there's a problem, there's a leak, or the roof was done, you know, you don't want that issue. And I know, like I said, it's extra money out of pocket, but typically it's money well spent. I've been doing this 16 years, probably 5,000 inspections. I've never left a house yet where I would say that my fee hasn't paid for itself by finding things wrong. That's just me personally, and I go to brand new houses, and guess what? There's still things wrong. It's just, you don't live in a perfect world. And you would think, oh my gosh, it should be perfect. And it depends on the builder. Sometimes the lists are big and sometimes they're small. But even if they're brand new, there's issues or problems. It's just the way it goes. So it's really important to get a good home inspection. Like I said, I know it's an extra fee, but try to work that into your, you know, your budget so that you can get that, because like I said, there's nothing worse than having your dream, oh, I love the kitchen and I love this, and then you move in and it's like, what happened here? Why didn't you tell me about that? You know, I mean, that's the dream, is having that, and you don't want to have that problem. You want to deal with it up front, get it taken care of. Hopefully the seller will work with you on it, or if you got a good agent, he might say, you know what, we need to leave this one alone, we need to look for another house. And, you know, that's kind of shooting himself in the foot, but a good agent's going to do that. Because a lot of my work would say, well, just, you know, it's not that big a deal. Just go along. Because I hear this when I'm on inspections, and it's like, that's not the right thing to say. That's up to you. If you think it's important, you know, stand your ground. Don't think just because you're a first-time home buyer, you just have to go with whatever they say, and you have to listen to whatever they say and go along with it. That's not the case. You're paying good money for a house. You should get what you want. Okay. So I think I've kind of covered what a home inspection is. Does that make sense? And again, whether it's myself or somebody else, qualify that inspector. There's no requirement to be insured. We carry errors and omissions insurance and general liability insurance, just in case something does happen. If there's an error, the house falls down, we're covered. But some inspectors don't. They don't do that. They don't.
Bill doesn't know this, but I ran into a situation where he had inspected a home. He has a great reputation, and about a year into it, the air condition wasn't working, and the home warranty was denying the claim. They say, you know, we're not gonna fix it because that had already been there prior. So the agent calls me and says, hey, we did get a home inspection on this. We pulled it out. We sent the home inspection to the home warranty company, and sure thing, it was a thorough inspection that certified, in a way,
Yeah.
that that air condition was okay, and they couldn't deny the claim. And that was a very important thing, 'cause that would have been a $3,000, $4,000 repair that the home warranty was so quick to reject.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't because the home inspector had documented with photographs, the picture of the air condition showing there was no leak, they claimed that leak had already been there, because the Freon had been leaking pre-existing.
Yeah, that's
No way.
fine.
And a lot of people wanna save $300-400, whatever it costs, and they end up paying $10,000 in repairs.
Like I said, my fee usually pays for itself, you know, hopefully in request for repairs and you get repairs done. Or just the peace of mind that you know what's going on with that house when you move into it. And again, if it's a first time house,
Very true.
you don't wanna have some issues, you don't wanna have some problems. And like I said, if we can go to a new house, I'm still gonna have a list of things. That's just me personally, I'm very picky. And that's the reputation we have. And I know there's some agents who would never invite me to something like this and would say, oh my gosh, we don't want that guy. That's fine. I mean, I get it, but most of our clients are buyers like you, that they wanna know what's going on with that house. And that's why they call us. And like I said, it's unfortunate, but like everything else, you gotta look, you gotta realize and do your homework and qualify people. Okay? So, budget for it, definitely have it done. I wouldn't have a family member or friend do it, it's not the best way because they're probably not gonna document it the way we do, and Roland would probably, you know, say, hey, how am I gonna deal with this? Because he has to make a formal request for repairs from that seller. And it's easier when we have a report that says item number this, section number this, that's what we wanna ask for. Not that, oh, he said this to, you know. And
My
again-
uncle said that. My uncle said
Yeah,
that.
I get that a lot. Yeah, people say that, and it's like, you know, like I said, and we have a standards of practice that we follow, that there's certain things that we have to follow. If I go into this room, I only have to look at one window, and I have to look at one outlet. If I go into this room and it's empty, I'm gonna look at every outlet, I'm gonna test every outlet, and I'm gonna test every window. I exceed the standards of practice. Some inspectors don't. They'll do the minimum, and that's all they have to do, and legally, that is all they have to do. But I wanna make sure every outlet in that room is working and doing what it's supposed to do, or if it's switched off a switch, that's just me personally.
I can tell it's part of your being, like I saw you looking at the lead.
Every other chamber, you get your pictures and report later.
You know, it's like, you just look sometimes like, wow, you know, because I have to look at it like, where did it come from? The roof's not above us.
You're gonna get a
Obviously, there's
report.
another unit. So, it's a
Part of
it's a habit. When I walk into, you know, I'm always looking up, and my wife will tell you, it's just like, shut up. Leave it alone. It's like, no, that's not right. Or if we go to Mexico or something, it's like, oh my gosh, look at that. Just leave it alone. Okay. I mean, so, it's a curse. It's a curse. But anyways, I would like to congratulate you on taking the first step and doing this. That's an awesome thing. I wish more people would buy houses. The tax advantage, I mean, it's just, there's so many advantages to doing it, plus it's your own. It's your own thing. But like I said, be cautious and make sure you get a good inspection. That's really key, because like I said, you don't wanna have to come out of pocket, or maybe you don't have the money in 3 months, and there's a catastrophic thing that the home warranty doesn't cover, and it's gotta be fixed, and then it's on you. There's no landlord to call up and say, hey, we need this fixed. So you wanna make sure you get somebody good. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank
So any
you.
questions?
Yeah, before I ask a question, I'm just gonna follow up with something with Bill, because I have a client right now, we've been in this house at least a half a dozen times. We've gone one end to the other, he did an inspection, we had a pool inspection, they've taken family members to look at their house. It's their first home, they wanted, you know, we've been in this house. So we sat down to go over the home inspection, do our request for repairs, And we noticed that in the request report, in the inspection report, it said that the master bathroom shower, the hot water didn't come on. And we're like, how have we been in this house all these times and not noticed that there's no hot water? And we went back to the house and turned it on, and sure, we left that thing running for 10 minutes, and there's no hot water in the shower in the master, which is not something that you want to find out the day after you close to go take a shower. in the bathroom.
Summer won't be so bad, but.
So again, it's the value of having that home inspection.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. If the house is a flip, which is very common nowadays, it's really key to have a home inspection. I'm gonna tell you, because when I know it's a flip, I look extra hard, because there's a lot of stuff like that where things get done and nobody checks it. And yeah, like he said, you move in and it's like, why is the water cold? Well, they either didn't hook it up or there's a problem with mixing it, but that's the stuff that we check. And I take it very seriously, and I treat it like if I was gonna buy the house. So I look at everything that I can to make sure that person does not have a problem.
So do you guys have any questions for us? Any questions about the process or?
I have a question. Manufactured homes, how does that work? We know
So-
that land has to be included with it in order to get financed. And
Yes.
some finances don't require land to be included because HOA fees actually out of your own pocket, they just
Right.
pay for, you know what I mean? I wanted to know.
So in order to finance a manufactured home, that's a great question. Manufactured homes are well regulated by the government,
Mhm.
because the government doesn't want you to just get into a mobile home and a manufactured home, and then now you're floating down the river next time it rains, or
Yeah,
wind takes it away. So they check for, the home has to be within standards, even higher standards than any other house,
okay,
when it comes to the foundation. So not every home is going to qualify for a loan. That's the
Mhm.
first thing you have to know. You have to purchase the home, and it has to come with a land. You
yes.
cannot buy a home, well, you can buy a home, but it cannot be financed as real
Without the
estate
land, yeah.
if the land is not part of it.
Mhm.
So in particularly with mobile homes, we have to qualify you first, and then if you say, hey, I wanna go look at manufactured homes, the real estate agent is going to look for homes that are actually compliant,
Mhm.
that are going to be passing the inspection that the place requires. We usually are able to tell, because we already know by looking at the property, but sometimes we don't know until either he gets there or the appraiser gets there. So Roland's job is to do due diligence on that home with the seller and say, is this home going to pass? You don't wanna open escrow, pay $400 to one guy, $400 to another one to find out that it's not on permanent foundation, or it doesn't have the required permits, and you just threw away $800. So we do a lot of homework ahead of that. But yes, we do a lot of manufactured homes, but they go on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
So once you're qualified, then yes, if that's where you wanna go, that's where we take you.
Mhm.
We just gotta make sure that the home passes.
Mhm.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
And again, you get somebody good who's gonna look out for you, because I've done the inspections, whether it's manufacturer or another home, and gone and done the inspection and everything else, and then they call for another inspection, another house, and it's like, what happened? Well, we found out the HOA didn't cover this, and it's like, well, your agent didn't find, so now you
That
pay
should have
me.
known ahead of time.
Somebody should have known, and this gentleman, I know he's very diligent about doing that, and you want somebody like that, because then you're gonna pay me twice,
Yeah.
because somebody didn't find out that this was an issue, or, oh, they don't allow kids, or they don't allow people under 50. Well, somebody should have figured that out way before you called me and paid me.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't wanna pay me twice, you wanna pay me once, so, do your due diligence, but like I said, you want somebody who's looking out for you, because it happens.
Yeah, we're
It
looking
happens.
for houses that have solar contrast. We gotta check that before you even make an offer. Houses that may be on the Indian lease, we have to check that before we make offers.
Mhm.
Manufactured homes, condos, there's a lot of condos that are not financiables. The HOA is in the red, they're not solvent. We have one right now where the HOA is being sued by the homeowners. No bank is touching that. So we do all that due diligence prior to you making those offers. Because what a waste of time for you to go through the process
Mhm.
if somebody forgot to check.
Yeah.
We check.
That's good, okay.
The manufactured homes typically going on are 433,
Correct.
permanent foundation.
Permanent foundation.
So that you own the land, but also that house is on a permanent foundation, because the bank doesn't want us to have an earthquake and that thing fall off, and then it's like, it's not worth anything, I'm not gonna pay on this house that fell off the jacks, because they're literally just on little 6-inch jacks, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what they come on.
And we have to actually do 2 additional inspections. We have to do an engineering foundation certificate,
You have to have a
and
certificate.
a certificate that the foundation is done properly, and then we have to do a inspection that the plate that was put on the manufactured home is actually legal. A lot of people put those plates in there,
Mhm.
and that plate doesn't even belong to that manufactured home. So they do a background check to make sure that that home wasn't in Katrina or wasn't put somewhere else, and they moved it over here. A lot of crazy stuff happens in our world. So that's why you have to have professionals to do all that stuff.
And that's not something we do, you need to call a specialty company for that. But we're looking at the structure, and manufacturing homes, they get a bad name, and mobile homes are anything before 1976, and then after that is manufactured. So
Mhm.
that's the difference, but some people say, well, what's the difference? It's the age.
Yeah.
Before that, they called them mobile homes, now they call them manufactured homes. But honestly, they get a bad rap, but I think they're nice homes.
Yeah.
I think if they're put together right and they're done right, they're great
Well,
homes.
we used to have one, that's why me and my husband used to have one in the Petrola Palms in Palm Desert, and we just love the area.
Yeah.
We love the area and everything, you know, we wanted to go back to that area and, you know, but I wanted it to see what was, you know, because I understand that the land has to come with it,
Yes.
you know? So, I mean, maybe that's not an option for us, because it's very hard to find manufacturing with land included in it.
Well, but a lot of those are
Because it's not for
financed, but,
55 and up.
no, but they're also financed by the seller a lot of times. So
Mhm.
if you have one of those houses that doesn't come with a permanent foundation or the land, sometimes the seller himself is willing to sell it to you and collect the payments until you pay it
Yeah.
off, because they're cheaper.
Yeah, they
You're
are.
not, you're not buying the land, you're just
Yeah.
buying the shell, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
I just had one last week where the agent actually wrote into the offer, they said, we want this on our 433, we want it on a permanent foundation. That was part of the offer that they made, and they took it. So the seller was gonna pay to have it put on a permanent foundation, so they could get the, you know.
We do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if,
Oh, so that's
again,
possible.
Yeah, yeah, no, there's a lot of homes that are not on permanent foundation, and this, we did 3 in Hemet last year, the same mobile home area, the same park.
Mhm.
It does come with the land, but it was not attached properly.
Yeah,
So they kept sending me the deals because I did one, and then I knew who to send, I knew the guy to send to do the foundation
Yeah.
certifications.
It's doable, I mean,
Yeah.
again, if somebody, you want somebody who's willing to fight for you and do the stuff, and same with the finance, I mean, there's things, you can do stuff if you want to, and a lot of times that doesn't happen because people go, oh, it's too much work, and it's like, well, that's not what I want, you know, representing me.
And like I said, while I'm willing to go and take you to go see stuff without getting
Mhm.
pre-approved, we won't be writing an offer without
Yeah.
without you talking to a lender. Because for all of those reasons, that
Yeah.
you need to, you need to talk to Enrique or someone like him to know exactly what you're gonna, what you qualify for, because depending on the program, the house may not qualify based on the program.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes with condos, or like you said, with lease land. So that's where we send him the address, and then he says, oh. yeah, this
Doesn't
one's
qualify
not-
for
yeah, this one's
qualifies,
not
yeah.
gonna work. Keep looking. Or, more likely, oh, we can make this work, but this is how we're gonna do it.
And keep in mind, when we do the home inspection, and again, some people will fall in love with the house, and then they get the report, that my inspection report, and they're like, oh my God, I don't want this house, it's got all these issues. Every house is gonna have issues, it's just the way it goes, as inspectors, we have to, if the house was built in the 60s, and it didn't have, what we call
Certain
ground
things.
circuit,
Mhm.
ground fault circuit interrupters, it didn't have certain things, or the railings are too wide, even if it didn't have it, I have to say something, because that was code at that time, but the new code, I have to let you know about those things, and a good inspector should let you know about those things that should be upgraded.
Mhm.
So they'll get the list and go, oh my gosh, I don't want this up. Wait a second, this is not uncommon for me, I mean,
Keep it
let's
in
go through this
perspective,
stuff. Yeah, it's because I tend to itemize, I don't lump a bunch of stuff together, I itemize things so it's easier for the agent to say, we wanna ask for this, and we wanna ask for this. Some inspectors will lump in a paragraph and put 4 different things, but what's wrong, and it's a little hard to decipher. I tend to itemize, so it makes the report longer and it looks a little
Scary.
intimidating, but every house is gonna have a list, it's just the way it goes.
And that's what we do as well, at that phase, is that we go over that inspection report and kind of decipher what things are, and one of the great things about his report is that he marks what's a safety issue and what's a maintenance issue. And so we can decipher between, this is something that needs to be repaired for the safety of living in the property, this is something that would be nice to have, but if we don't get it, you can still live with it. And I had a doesn't itemize list, it was 150 items, and my seller, or my buyer was like, okay, let's send that to the seller. I was like,
No, never do that.
That's not what it's for. It's for you, it is for your knowledge, and again, I break down safety things because somebody usually doesn't mind doing safety things. They don't, they wanna have a good conscience when they sell the house, and they wanna do safety items. So that's why I break that down separately. But first thing I tell people, don't ask for everything, because here's the thing, or don't be excessive in asking for stuff. When you're asking to have the trim repainted, you can do that yourself.
Yeah,
When you give it to the seller and you give them all these items, now they're like, really? They want me to do all of this stuff? I mean, there's 5 safety things here, and they want me to do 20? Now, you kind of lost the edge on negotiation. Because then they're gonna go, I'm not doing anything. If you give them the main item, it's kind of like, okay, I get it, you know what, I'll do those. But when you give them to them with 10 other things, it's like, yeah, I don't think so, I'll teach them, I'm not doing anything.
yeah.
Let them figure it out. So, keep that in mind, because like I said, some people will do that, and that's the person that don't do it. It's not, some of the stuff is a laundry list for you to do when you move in the house, and you get pride of ownership, and you start doing those repairs yourself.
Well, thank you, Jesus, my husband's engineer.
It's like I said, but that's just like you're just asking for a bond.
Do you guys have any questions for
I have
that?
a question.
You're all ready to go out and buy right now? Okay?
I have a question for you. Okay, I have a house that I want.
Okay,
Um,
great, let's go.
well, hang on. I know I gotta clean up some credit cards before we get too crazy, okay? And I already know the buyer. I'm buying the house for my son. I want to buy the house for my son. But I don't wanna do an owner carry thing. I want to purchase the house.
Mhm.
So would that be something you would be willing to help
Absolutely.
handle?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be my question. Okay,
We could definitely talk about that. and see
Okay,
how that would
okay.
work, and
okay,
I
cause
was gonna
we're
talk to Enrique
looking,
about the-
we're probably looking about 9-10 months down the road, because I've got a couple small cars I wanna get rid of, and he's got a couple, and then I think.
Well, one of the suggestions I would make is that before you start paying things off, before you start doing that, let's take a look to see what that will do to your credit. There's a lot of people who go in and say, well, I just paid everything off. And I go,
And
well,
then it lowers your
guess
credit
what you have to
score.
do? You have
I've
to
done
go
some
charge all the
reading.
credit cards again. You go, are you kidding me? Because who told you to go pay them off?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that if I pay off all my collections, you just kill your credit. So we have the ability to do what we call a soft pull credit, which means I will
I understand
run
what
it
that is.
without hitting your
Credit score.
credit score. We don't even need your social for it.
Okay,
So we run a soft pull, we'll tell you what the balances you should pay, where they should be at, and then you have a clear direction rather than, okay, what do I pay first, what do I
okay,
pay second?
okay.
So we'll help you with that.
I mean, what you look for on credit, because I have a few credit cards, I make sure my utilization is there's times where some of them are, you know what I mean? But majority of the time I pay more of the minimum on it. I mean, my credit cards, I have about 4 of them, they're both at 4 of them are at $200. That's why I keep them, you know what I mean? And then they'll go down and then add another couple bucks on it. I have my card payment, that's what, 26,000, that I just pulled out, but
That
I
doesn't
paid another
usually
one off.
affect you that much?
I paid it off, another one off, and then
Right.
got this one out, I mean,
So your question is, what is the
what is
balance
it,
look
yeah,
like?
what is
Okay.
it look?
So the reality is that there is no rhyme or reason sometimes for how things are. I can give him advice about his credit, and if you go do the exact same thing that he did, your credit is different.
Yeah,
So what we have is we have a tool, it's called a credit simulator. And the credit simulator allows me to pull your credit, just one score, and then I play with it where I go, okay, what if we pay this, what if we don't pay this, what if we open a new card, what if we pay this collection? And it tells me what the score does.
oh, wow,
So the customer we're closing on in a few days came in and he says, I have horrible credit. I said, wow. So I pull the credit up and I go, pay 500 here, 500 here, 500 here, and the score goes up 47 points.
wow,
$1,500. She says, how fast can I pay that? Because that was her dream, is to own a home. And everybody's told her, because she's looking at Credit Karma and she sees that 580 FICO score. Well, next thing you know, go from 580, you add another 40 points. She's getting a great interest rate. So it was a matter of running that simulator that tells us what to do, so we don't have to guess what to do. I've had people say, well, my uncle told me that I should pay off all my collections. And I go, what does your uncle do? He's a fireman. So he needs to stay to fighting fire. Because what he told you doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
right? So you always wanna run, even me, I don't guess anymore. I don't have to. I can go to the simulator. I pay $5 to the credit agency, and the credit agency lets me play with that credit as much as I want, so I can get that score that I need.
That's a great idea. I like that.
That's what I would
really
do.
You know,
I'll be waiting for your
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
Another question I had, shoot, what was it? It'll come to me right now. I should wrote down all my questions. I have so many of them.
Well, if you guys are okay, then what we'll do is we have a little drawing for
Okay.
some gift cards for coming and participating tonight. And then you guys are welcome to hang around and have a little bit more pizza.
Yeah, and when we meet with you one-on-one,
Okay.
you wanna bring those questions with
Okay.
you. Because honestly, after 15 years, I've funded close to over $2 billion worth of loans. There's very few things that I've not seen before.
Mhm.
Every once in a while I get stumped, but I can tell you, just by looking at credit reports, just by looking at situations, we can give you direction.
Okay, so the hard inquiries, you
Yes.
know, when it got me upset when I had purchased my car, some dealers, they just throw your
Yeah, 10,
information out
12
there 10,
times,
12
yes.
times, and you have all these hard inquiries, and
Right.
you're like, wow, really? And so
Yeah.
that's what happened with me, and I was really upset. I literally wrote personal letters to every finance company, told them I did not approve it. I approved them for them to
Yeah.
finance. I did not,
Yeah.
wasn't aware,
That's a terrible thing they do.
and they couldn't take it off my credit score, so I was very upset. So
And you have
I
to
have
wait for it to flush out.
I have literally,
Yeah.
that's my other question, I have 12 inquiries, hard inquiries on my thing.
No.
I mean, I literally have, all my payments are 10 days in advance, my card payments, credit cards, like I said, I pay more than the minimum payment, everything is 10 days in advance, my card
Wow.
payment, everything. You know, never been late on a payment.
So that's why we don't.
So does that affect?
Well, when somebody runs your credit 1 or 2 times, is normal.
Yeah.
Like if you went and you shop with me and then last week you were with someone else, people come in really scared. That's not a big deal. The only time that it affects you is if you're right there on the line and you need to have a 620 score and somebody ran your credit 6 or 7 times and you went to 618 and now like, okay, now I have to remove the inquiries. We're able to remove them.
Okay, great.
It's a lot of work, but we
Yeah.
can remove them if we have to. Just, other than a car, I mean, the car companies are the ones that do that.
Yeah, it is a card
Because
company, like I said, I
they-
didn't have anything on there
And the
besides
worst part about it
that.
is they're trying to shop around for a better rate for you,
Mhm,
but in the process,
they're
they-
damaging.
right, so, but here's the other thing too, if you know that you're gonna be in the process of thinking of buying a home, don't even drive by a dealership right now. My biggest enemy is not bad credit, my biggest enemy is vehicles. The vehicle is what keeps a lot of people from buying a home. In
Wow.
fact, when I talked to someone on the phone and they said, we wanna buy a home, I said, well, what do you do, where do you work, how many car payments do you have?
Yeah,
And they said, well, I have 3, I have 4, I know that's gonna be a challenge. Because the card takes away from your ability to buy a home. So co-signing for cards for people, if you're thinking about buying a home, stay away from all that nonsense.
Well, that's
The
too
car's
late. I
not
already
your friend,
purchased my
unless you wanna
car
go into
9
the car and
months
live
ago.
there, right? So, but if you already have it, that's okay. Just, if you're thinking in the next 6 to 10 months or a year, you're gonna buy a home, then buy a car.
yeah.
It's not gonna help you. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, and then another question, so
Sure.
you know all the commercials, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, all
Yes.
that great stuff they put on there, and I tried Credit Karma.
Right.
I know the accuracy on that credit score is not correct. Is
It's
that
actually
just-
accurate. It's
is
accurate. But what happens is there are 2 different measurements.
Yeah,
Credit Karma, freecreditreport.com, they use a system called Vantage Credit.
mhm,
And we use a system called FICO Credit. So it measures the same,